I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. We're glad you're here. We will need a motion and a second to approve the agenda for today.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it. Have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. The agenda is approved. We have no one signed up for open forum tonight, so we'll move on to communications. We will begin with our Director of Business Services. Nice to see you, Robin. Robin became a grandmom again this week. That's
so exciting. Thank you, that's so sweet. Yes, little Miller, he's very cute. Very cute. Just as cute as his siblings, but. Okay, so the first one I have is enrollment. We are holding steady at 3201. I think we were at 3202 last month. But you will notice our Wildcat Academy is up to 35. So kind of evening out where our high school is down 34, but our Wildcat Academy is at 35. So, and then on the graph in the back, you can see it's just kind of holding steady there. Anybody have any questions on enrollment? On to the DBS report. I was just looking at it earlier and I'm like, there's really no anomalies that are sticking out on budget to actual. Looks like we're right in there every month compared to the last 3 years. And then on the graphs, our general fund is looking about the same over those 3 years, but slightly better this year. You can see revenue's a little bit higher. So that's a good thing. We're moving in that right direction. For food service, we did make a jump there to get our revenue up a little bit. You can see they're pretty even now, which is good. Then community ed, still have our revenue over expenditures, so we're looking good there as well. On our treasurer's report, just moving through, Michelle, sorry. The only thing I wanted to point out there again, we do have an outstanding deposit again at the end of the month. And we did ask why that was happening, and I guess the state is now sending deposits in a check rather than an ACH for some reason. So it's supposed to get here on the last day of the month, and it's not hitting our books until the next day. So thankfully, we've got enough money in there to be able to make payroll every month. I don't know why that's happening. I'm going to keep checking on that. The other two things, we had two investments come due this month. We had one at 4.6% and one at 4.55. Interest rates have come down, so we did reinvest, one at 4.15 and one at 4.22. So interest rates are coming down a little bit. It's good on the loan side, not good on the investment side, but we're still above 4%. And we do get 4% in our checking and savings accounts too. So that's a really good rate for those. So we're happy about that. The other thing I want to mention, we did finish our audit. We're just finishing up the last things as of right now. We do not have any findings this year, so we're hoping that sticks. Everything went well. I will give Lauren 100% credit on that. She did a great job in year 2. And I think, Laura, you spoke with our auditor too. And I mean, I haven't heard anything. So we'll have that presented in December. Along with Truth and Taxation, it's going to be a great meeting.
We are looking forward to it.
Yes. Yeah. So that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Robin?
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Robin. Okay, student representative reports. So Annika did email me. It is the final rehearsal for the musical tonight. She has a big role in the musical, so she can't be here, but she sent me an update. And just by the way, Sarah and I went over to the high school today and we interviewed students interested in juniors being interested in being on the school board. So we'll make a decision and we'll have a new junior added to the board by the next meeting. It was lovely talking to the kids today, actually. We have some amazing kids in our high school and it's just made my entire day to just talk with them. So that was fun. Okay, Annika's update. Winter sports are starting. Girls hockey won their first game against Holy Angels this week. Other teams are getting going. Musical opens on Friday. She said, come check it out. The dates are on the theater website and on Instagram. And winter's coming. Everyone's been excited about the northern lights and snow. She said stoked, not excited. I put that word in. And Wild Mountain just opened, so many people are excited about skiing and snowboarding. So that's her update. All right, we'll move on to board committee updates. Does anyone have board committee updates for us?
I was at the Scred meeting last night, and I shot you guys an email with a link to, we had a presentation from their behavioral services team, and they're just doing really cool work. So I sent you a link in the email, but check out this emotions map they're using. But this is like all levels, it's not just special ed, it's all levels. It's just cool, I think it's fun. It's more straightforward on the back, but the mood land.
Show Josh where he is on the map.
Where am I in the realm?
And then you can look at smooth move, or what do you want to do if you want to move up to yellow? Oh, yeah, pretty neat.
I need it.
So
We might all need it.
Yeah.
We need it.
A link to that and more resources is in your.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they also have just been successful at it. Moving along over to Greg.
Thank you. Any other committee updates?
Brian and I were at a staff meeting, and it was really good. Peter Leatherman presented, and I always like Peter Leatherman. I think everybody who's been to one of his presentations knows it's really good. And Brian did a really good job of giving a synopsis of what Peter said. I think it all came to the board. And then Fred Nolan was the other one. And Brian, I gotta be honest, I'm not quite sure if I follow LOR, local operational revenue.
Yeah.
But it's a different way of looking at how schools can get revenue, and I guess we're looking at every kind of way there is to equalize revenue, because we probably aren't gonna get it through local levies, authority, or through equalization of the formula. So they're looking at different options. I don't know. I'm kind of asking, kind of putting you on the spot. Do you get LOR?
Robin does as well, but I mean, I'll say this, I think they're gonna work on, because he presented that day, it was extremely technical. And if they're gonna go to the Capitol and talk to people, they're gonna have to bring it down about 15 notches. So, but it's another good approach. They're just trying to figure out, like Jeff said, ways. Unfortunately, and I'll talk about my report, we're gonna be hurting for money for the state the next biennium. And I think they're just trying to figure out creative ways to do things to take the burden off local taxpayers and help districts like Chisago Lakes that are equity forward finances to get to another step up and help us out to get funding.
It was a really good meeting, and just the two of us, they actually got a selfie that you don't know.
Oh, I was online, so I
Were
was
you there? Oh,
watching
you were
it
there?
too.
You were watching us too? Oh.
Yep.
Anyway, it was good. Enjoy those meetings, and an invite to anybody who wants to go down. So was Peter Leatherman's always, I think, just so informative. One of the things he did say, and we just mentioned to get our open forum, is getting parents mowed up to 40% or more, and how critical it is. And it's kind of been one of the themes I think we've been talking about passing this next bond, and how important it is to get parents out to vote. But some surprising data too. I don't know how many had a chance. I mean, it's a lot of information. And the Fred Nolan one was, you had to have kind of a microscope, or you had to have some binoculars in order to see the tiny fine print of everything. It was a good meeting.
Any other committees? Negotiations.
Negotiations.
Yep, we met again this week. We continue to negotiate with our teachers union in Clem. So we're working on making progress there. All right. If no other committee updates, we'll move on to the superintendent updates. Superintendent Dietz, what do you have for us?
I said 3, and I'll start off with the one with funding attached to it. So we had a briefing meeting this week, and our lobbyist, Allie Joslin, was on the call. And they're just doing a precursor to the session coming up. This will not be a big one, because the biennium is going to be next year, where more often the financial things come out at that point. But she just gave a somber reminder of the fact that right now we have a $6 billion deficit, and that the next forecast comes out in February. Some encouraging news is that they said there has been an uptick in revenue and taxes collected. I don't think it's going to have a major dent on that, but they are just telling us, especially for this year, the session they're going to have, don't expect anything to come out of it. It's going to probably be more policy laden, bonding, and hopefully nothing else to add on to our plates. But we're very clear on the fact that there's not going to be a lot of money. There's also a lot of other committees like the North Star Committee that's really meeting right now to sort of sort through some of the reductions they recommend, especially in special ed. And there's a reason to hesitate a little bit because of the fact that they have to make some decisions about how they're going to cut out the dollars they committed to the last session in reductions. There's fear that's gonna come out of special ed and have a bigger impact on districts. So they haven't reached a conclusion, but I believe what was said too is if they do not reach a conclusion, then it's gonna come out of the dollars we received a few years back for cross-subsidy aid. What it's looking like it's gonna come out of if they don't figure out a solution. So stay tuned, more to come on that. I just wanna thank our high school students for their Veterans Day program. We didn't get a chance to attend, we were meeting and convening, but I had heard from people that were there as parents, some of the veterans, and also students and staff, and just, we have outstanding students in this district. And I just want to celebrate them, that the comments I heard was that they were so great to observe the service that our people in our community have done, and our kids just really hit every mark on that piece. So just congrats to all the people that put that together. It's an awesome piece of our culture in this district and communities. It was really cool for them to celebrate our veterans. And the last piece is if you drive 35 E and head down to the cities, take a look at the boards for the one by the Walmart and the ones that are by the Ford dealership. So we've started to launch our marketing campaign, and it's vastly between community education events, which we had a couple up there as well, the expo and the Nerf Wars piece. And then we've also started our campaign for just our marketing of our school district and our programs. And just so you know, our theme is leave your imprint. So the Wildcat print, leave your imprint. And we're excited. Heard from some people already, and we'll be tracking some of that data too, especially as we get into open enrollment season, as well as for Wildcat Academy. We're looking to track some of the data about how you found out more about us, and we're excited about having a presence out there. Thanks.
So how often does it show up on the billboard? How does it work? Is it a timing thing?
So they're 8-second holds, like each ad is 8 seconds, we're one every 16th. But because the Walmart, like the sign by Walmart is brand new, Chuck, the guy who owns the sign, is getting us both, basically. So I've seen us both north and southbound when we should only be northbound right now, but because there's not enough ads to fill Walmart, he's giving us more space.
Oh, that's
But
nice.
eventually we'll go down to one every 16th ad. You'll see us just northbound by Walmart.
I'm gonna get in a car accident, like waiting.
I was
Park in the parking lot, watching the mirror.
I can send you what the ads look like. You don't have to do that. We'll do that.
I should have
Any accident.
Joe, I'm just telling you it can happen.
I will send you what the ads look like, so you don't have to do that.
All right, thank you, Michelle.
Yep.
Thank you, Brian. All right, so we have our Director of Community Education here during Community Education Week to talk to us about what's happening in the community education world. Dan, it's good to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Your daughter talks about her daily commute up and has that same issue of potentially getting in a car accident for a community ed sign.
Yeah.
I'm going to buzz through this fairly quickly. Many of you have seen the outcome of our strategic planning, but I put those slides in here as well. But what I wanted to do tonight was introduce you to the people behind the scenes. So I want to just ground us in where our program kind of is. We have 5 full-time and part-time employees, coordinators and at the coordinator and manager level, supporting 15 program areas. We've made 3.5 annual in revenue, and that's an increase from 2.2 million in the 22 school year when I first started. My goal by my second two contracts from now, I would like to double that number. So I'm going to put that out there now, and then we'll talk in a couple of years and see if I accomplish that goal. Over 5,000 youth and school-age students have been served or participated in our classes, and we contract with over 60 community partners. And super proud of that. Continue to try to build those relationships every opportunity we get. We service all 5 cities in the district, of course, and then we also partner with multiple athletic associations. So that's just the revenue slide. So I want to introduce you to each member of our team. Many of you guys know Danielle Brooks, and I think the thing I'm the most proud of what she's done for us overall is when I first started here, you guys heard a lot from the community relative to use of our aquatic center. And you see from the numbers, 150 to 180 swimmers are getting swim lessons. We have 40 to 50 aqua fitness members. We have our pool punch pass numbers are at 358. And then she's continued to grow the lifeguard pool staff now to 40 team members, which is important metrics in order for you guys not to get emails and calls about why isn't the pool more busy. So these slides here, when you guys look through this is read only, but these are the pieces, each area. This is kind of the strategies that were identified through our strategic planning process and kind of the initiatives that have come out of that. So those are going to be read only, but for you guys. And if we have questions later on, like outside of this meeting, Brian said there's an opportunity for us to all connect that way. So appreciate that opportunity. Want to introduce you to Jessica Hansen. She's our brand new early childhood coordinator. And she's sitting on an outdoor classroom that herself, her husband, myself, and Amy Grice got paid for the through the booster club, or not the booster club, but the PTO. Thank you. Paid for the mulch there. But anyway, so we put that together this summer. That's at primary school. We're hoping to do something similar at Taylor's Falls as well. But she's got a really good passion for the work that she does. I'm excited to see kind of the direction that our program heads. And I'm excited to pull out and want to thank Sarah Schmidt for so much work that she's done to help us with our Nelly screening, which we are going to be one of, if not the only in the state to sort of provide that service to our 4-year-olds. And it grounds them in language and in support of literacy into their future, and especially with the lens towards connectivity to the K-1 system and what they're going to need to know and learn and grow from preschool age, but really help build those skills in those students as they transition into their K-12 life as a student. So wanted to introduce you to her. The areas that she oversees, those are all those. Jamie, if any of you come to the WCC, Jamie's smiling face and happy greeting. We have so many people within our community that know her story. She gets to know them, know their story, and just proud of the job she does to represent all things community ed first and foremost, but all things district, all things school, all things WCC. And she works really hard to balance a lot of needs relative to using our space in the evenings. And as you guys have heard me say and know, I think that's an important thing for us to bring as many community members into our spaces. We've been intentional about trying to bring our community members into the middle school, for example, over the last several years, multiple years. Brenda, Jenny, you guys know that. Just trying to make sure that we can engage our community, but also let them know here's where we are, right? Here's why we have the needs we do. And she does a great job of trying to juggle all that and balance all that for us. Betsy is the person to the left in that photo, and she did authorize me to use this picture in this slideshow. She's been with us for 25 years, I believe, in various roles within community education. And as a result of growing through our program over the years, she has made so many connections with the demographic that she serves, and she serves them so very well, and does such a great job of providing opportunities for all of our senior citizens to connect, providing ways and little unique trips and little things that they can do. And our Chisago Lake Pickleball Club, which she helped us get off the ground as well, we now have 125 members. So this slide was sent in a couple weeks ago, I think, or a week or so ago. And then Betsy plays in the ukulele club, so I thought I'd give her a shout out with the 70 people that she's got in that group as well.
A lot of ukulele players.
It is, it's fun. There's Ian Lexfold. I'm sure all of you know Mr. Lexfold, and he's at our podcast center. And hopefully you guys have seen us now on YouTube. We're now television stars, so I would welcome any of you to come and sit down at the hot seat, and we'd love to interview you. Mr. Dietz has sat through that before prior to the television, but with his fancy haircut now, I'm really hoping you'll come on. Ian does a really good job with our kids club. We continue to kind of see that servicing between 325 and 350, 360 families. And we're kind of expanding some of those opportunities. We've always closed previous years during like our breaks from school, and that's a need that families still have. They still have to find that childcare over Christmas break, right? So we're kind of taking a look at all that comprehensively and trying to make sure we can serve our families as best we can. So again, his initiatives, his growth opportunities for us. Stacy Pullman is a position, I think I came and talked to you guys probably not quite 2 years ago about Stacy, and Brian and Corey and Robin really supported as I was trying to sell sort of this vision of this gap that I've seen. Those guys really kind of helped me frame it. They helped make sure I was driving in the right lane, make sure that we're really looking at all the different possibilities and considering it from different ways. And what she's really brought to our team. So I kind of title her as a member benefit coordinator. It's not a coordinator position, coordinator level. It is on Local 284. But she has worked with our senior citizens in our community to help them connect to benefit opportunities in Silver Sneakers, Renew Active, things like that. And you see the numbers, that's again a couple weeks ago, but 474 and 439. And we were on a call prior to her position. And I think we had like 100 and something in the in Renew Active, and we were just over 200 in Silver Sneakers. So you see the work she's done with, and what they said, okay, there's 700 and so many people in your district that could be on Silver Sneakers. And at that time we were in the 200s, and she's grown us to almost 500. And that gives them the opportunity to interact with our space, gives them the opportunity to be in the WCC at no cost. We make a little bit of money as a result of that. And you can see, in fact, we made $60,000 last year with Stacy. So the position is exactly what we hoped it would be. And then I throw other random ideas on her, like, hey, let's figure out a way to rent our lockers out. And she takes it and run and just does a great job for us. And I must, since I better probably be transparent and say that I maybe overshot a little bit on how much I thought our locker renters were going to be, but we're getting there. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep marketing it and keep trying to grow it. But it is an opportunity for us. So, and then just to touch base on the Wildcat Community Center, every Christmas we've tried to sort of have an opportunity for people to connect with our space via let's give back to our community. This year we are going to collect toiletry items for our senior citizen community and for the nursing homes, and that's been great. I mean, we've colored Christmas ornaments, we've done things like that. So the energy of my staff is just great. I come up with some random idea or give them the space to come up with great ideas, and we try to take it and grow it and run with it. And we're proud of the connectivity that we've created at the WCC. And then our youth and adult enrichment coordinator, Christine, she started with us in a different position. And, I just saw the opportunity in what she could bring to the team and what she could bring to the table. She's such a breath of fresh air. And she keeps me in line because I can be grumbly sometimes I'm very business and very, let's go, why isn't it this way? Let's drive this forward. And she's very much, well, we have to be friendly and we have to be nice and we have to, so she really brings a great energy to the team. And then she's done such an amazing job just growing our programming. I think Lori and I had a conversation when one of our catalogs came out, and Lori called and congratulated myself, but really I know the extension was to the team overall and just how many offerings we have in there. And a lot of that is because of Christine Melstead. So wanted you guys to make sure those of you who haven't met her or interacted with her knew her name, knew her face, and the great job she's done to help grow all the programming we have. And then again, all these are the opportunities. So opportunities overall, Brenda and I walking in talked about the marketing position. Jessica was in a role of a front desk person for us in preschool. And she really just took a lot of our marketing and did it. Ian does some of it. Michelle, when we started, it was Michelle, but when sort of Michelle, as her duties sort of shifted. So Jessica really took a lot of that. And I don't want to lose the momentum. I think a lot of the growth that I just pointed to is because we do a good job of telling our story and marketing ourselves. Brian pointed to the billboard. I mean, whatever opportunities we can possibly have to get the word out there about Chisago Lakes, first and foremost, the Chisago Lakes community ed. So that's an opportunity for us to grow. Corey and I have had discussions, Brian as well has been in on some of those, just making sure that we don't lose the momentum that we've had. So that's one of the biggest areas that I feel like we could really look at doing. And then I think just the connectivity overall, I really want to get kind of back settled into my day job, and we've had some transition and things like that that have sort of taken me away from some of the things that I try to do. But really connecting to the county resources, city resources, community resources around us, nonprofits and things like that. And then, you know, Brian, we're working as well on our emergency action plan, and it's a comprehensive thing when you think about it through the lens of community education, building renters, after school classes at every one of our facilities, things like that. So I'm working through that as well. So another area that I feel like hopefully in the next year or so that I can come back to you guys and have a concrete plan in place that we are gonna roll out district-wide. That's all I have. Happy National Community Ed Day. That's, appreciate you letting me chat with you guys a little bit on such a special day. And I thank you guys so much for the support. I mean, every one of us have had one-on-one conversations. I appreciate the way you guys give me advice, ideas, energy, and feedback. So thank you guys so much.
Well, I love your haircut too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And a goatee.
My daughter did it last night. She was like, I was like, I've got a school boy. I had my old deer hunting stuff going. I'm like, Hannah, you gotta make me look good. Mom would do this for me.
It seems that we should have been giving you treats instead of you giving us treats, which is the great irony in this. I'm an aggressive, and I think the rest of us are too, but especially on social media, aggressive, passionate supporter, defender of community ed and the Wildcat Center. And we talk about cradle to the grave, but we often talk about education kind of being pre-K. I want to put the pre-K in there for those pre-K teachers that do such a wonderful job for us and get that great advantage that you provide for them to get into pre-K and to 12, but it's outside of there, the cradle to the grave. You know, I haven't heard that term much anymore. It used to be kind of popular several years ago, but I appreciate everything that community ed does and the Wildcat Center, which, like I said, I'm aggressively, passionately supporting the Wildcat Center. And we see the social media garbage sometimes, and I just say, when was the last time you were in there? Well, that pretty much ends the conversation.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you can just give us, because we can't be there from opening to close, and what happens before opening and after close. What happens in that Wildcat Center that you could just encourage our community to come and enjoy and experience and see what goes on there? What's happening in that building? Because honestly, I haven't been in there for several weeks now.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Every block of time sort of serves a different purpose and population, if you want to say it that way. So we have our early morning people who come in, and they're there for the fitness goals. They're there for the experience of, hey, I got to get to work, but I'm going to go and get my lift in. I'm going to go and get my walk in. I'm going to go and get whatever, right? And so the people that work that shift are purposeful about building that relationship with that type of clientele. During the middle of the day, we really try to, or middle morning, I should say, early morning to mid-morning, we really try to service the senior population that I pointed to with Stacy.
Why are you pointing at me?
No, on the screen, but sorry.
I'm the only senior in this building that actually reached that I'm 65 now.
No. I was pointing to the TV, sir.
I'll point to it.
No.
So, you know, we really try to serve that population during that time, and we've built a lot of fitness stuff, and the numbers, we have a person that does our dry land fitness, I call it, but it's fit and balance, healthy stretching, things like that. Not real aggressive exercise, but just enough to get that senior population, which maybe you do qualify. I'm not sure, Jeff. I'll have to double check.
65?
But I think it might be a little too young.
Okay.
But try to get that population served during that time. And then we sort of have a lull where there might be some opportunities for our FI ed departments to come down and utilize the space. And the people that are comfortable coming to work out during that block of time are comfortable with the fact that there's, you know, more of our high school kid type customer there at that point, let's just say. And then after school, our middle school friends, I mean, I can't tell you guys how many times I've worked until 6 p.m. and I've walked out the door. I'm so thankful that that place exists, because I see kids that are still there and have been there since 2 o'clock. And they might just be sitting there watching a movie on their tablet at the benches outside in the hallway, but they've got a safe place to be. And then we pick back up, and now it's the workout crowd again, and then a lot of times you'll see the families, right? If you want to get your bucket filled, come during that 5:30 to 7-ish time, and you got dad working out upstairs in the cardio room, you got mom in the gymnastics room with their daughter, and the son is out shooting back. I mean, it's just all sorts of the microcosm of our community, right? And then the closing time, it does kind of slow down a little bit from that 8 to 9 hours, 9 o'clock time during the weekday. And it's again back to sort of, hey, I like a nice quiet spot to come and work out. So it's amazing to just watch that transition of, and I've had the pleasure of being, sometimes I have to be to work at 6 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning, and sometimes I'm there until 8 or 9. And to see that across that whole spectrum, Jeff, is amazing. And credit to everybody that was at this table at that time to help get that place built and had the vision and had the foresight, because I say to community education people all the time, like, I'm so blessed to have this as part of my overall operation. Can I just say one thing that I forgot to say about Stacy? Sorry, this just came into my mind. Other community eds now are reaching out to us about Stacy's job, her position, what she's doing. I've had multiple directors talk to me about it. She's working with North Branch about it, trying to get something similar to what we're doing with that position off the ground. I meant to say that. It was probably in my notes. I didn't cheat and use my notes because I'm trying to be Todd Warzeka, but anyway, he's not here to defend himself. I probably should have said something else. Yeah.
One thing that I would say about the community center is if you are out there walking, it's a community hub. I mean, my kids have been out of school for a couple months, so I don't have that parent connection, maybe a couple of years, whatever. But to be up there and just walking some laps, and all of a sudden, oh, there's the mom that I've known since kindergarten. Now we're walking laps.
Yeah.
And then you meet up with the next person. Now we're walking laps.
Yeah.
It's a great place just to see community and see people, the
And
kids
it's
down below
free.
having fun, and
Yeah.
it's free to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people aren't going, they're really missing out on, basic things.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dan, for all you do and your staff.
Yeah, thank you.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, my favorite picture that we took over the years was Harold and Betty sitting at the table having coffee in the morning, and around them are people of every age, a young kid who's a homeschool student, and they talk like that every day. And I just walked by them one day and snapped a picture, and we've used it in some things with marketing, and I feel like that photo encompasses that space and the people in it, right? Like, to your point, I mean, everybody's so friendly and so welcoming and of all ages. So it's an amazing place to work. Thank you guys for believing in me.
Well, thank you, Dan, for being here.
Yes.
It really is an exciting place. to
Sorry
be.
if I went long.
No, that's okay.
Probably made
I
you
forced it along. Brenda likes this long meetings.
We're doing something.
Ryan and I are working on me telling one less joke every time. That's my goal.
I'm just thinking it was
No,
funny.
it's okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. That includes claims and accounts, the personal items, contracts, past minutes, and so on. So we'll need a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda for tonight.
I still hold.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of passing the consent agenda, say aye. Again, same sign. The consent agenda passes. All right. We have no old business from what I see. In the area of new business, we do have a donation from the Chisago City Fire Department for our middle school Woodbridge field trip in the amount of $765. So we'll need a motion in a second, and we'll do a roll call vote for this. And a big thank you to the Chisago City Fire Department for this donation as well. So we'll need a motion in a second. I'll second it. Sarah, can we start with you?
Sarah, aye.
Josh, I.
Brenda, I.
Jen, aye.
Jeff, I.
And Lori, aye. The donation is accepted. And now we are moving on to a comprehensive achievement and civic readiness report, which I think used to be world's best workforce.
You're exactly right.
Okay.
So I thought it's been the same thing, honestly, for like several years. So I went with a shortened handout. And so you have the full 40-page report in the workbook, but this is the gist of it, and what needs to be approved tonight is we have to, by law, write these 5 different goals in these goal areas. And so these are the new goals that we're asking to be approved. So goal 1, all students ready for kindergarten, and Dan, you kind of alluded to this, screening went way up, from, and I think Jessica kind of talked about that social, the marketing person's position really helped. We went up from 62% of kids being, 3-year-olds being screened up to 81% last year. So our new goal is 83% of kids getting screened. We think that's the best way to know if kids are ready for kindergarten. Our goal 2, closing the achievement gap, we're centering that on our gap between special education and non-special ed. The goal this year, we changed the grades we're watching, so it doesn't really look, it's not valid to go back and look at our goal from last year, because we increased it from 3 through 8th grade up through 11th grade. But trying to get some growth on our special ed population around reading. And then the college and career goal is 100% of kids in the high school to have a 4-year plan, which we had 100% last year, so it's just to maintain that. And that's to make sure they're ready for whatever they want to do when they leave us. You have to have a graduation goal, and that's a multi-year goal. So right now we're just in the middle of it. So I don't really have, the goal didn't change. It's just to continue it. We're hoping to hit 96% in 4 years. And then the last goal is the new one. All students will be lifelong learners. And so we gave the class of 2028 a survey last year on their growth mindset, and only 20% of them showed having a growth mindset, like believing that like mistakes you can learn from and some grit and perseverance. Our progress this fall was 21%, so we only moved it 1%, and we're hoping to get to 60% by the time they're seniors. So we do have a little work to talk about persevering through difficulties and that kind of thing. So those are the 5 new goals for the comprehensive achievement and civic readiness. If you want to know more on our strategies, it's in the full report. Otherwise, we need a motion to approve that.
Okay, just one quick question. I was handing the thing to Jess.
Oh, and I talked too
So
fast.
what do you attribute that increase in screening to?
One of the big things is that marketing position. They were able to then send direct mailings to every 3-year-old in the district, which we hadn't done prior, and then push out some more messages. So that was what they thought made the biggest jump from, because it went from 62 to 81.
Yeah.
But even the year before 62, it was 35. We've been flatlined around 30% for 3 years, and then we went to 62, and then we went to 80.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think that position really helped us with that.
And the first 4 we've seen every year.
Every year. Yeah, and they're all state like mandated. You have to make the goals in these 5 areas.
And what are the strategies for lifelong learners?
Part of it is in our advisement at middle school and high school to start talking about growth mindset and grit and persevering through mistakes. That's kind of the one area where all kids would get a little lesson. And then also we've talked about just like maybe dripping some strategies in with our staff who then could just embed it in their classes. Like where can you talk about like that mistakes have a purpose and that's okay? Because some of the questions are like, if I make mistakes, I don't feel like I'm good at what I do or something like that perfectionism thing. And it's like, no, to be a lifelong learner, you're going to make mistakes and that's okay. And that's how you learn and you grow. And like one of the questions are like, if I don't get it fast, I don't think I'm learning. And it's like, so just teaching them that like sometimes it's a struggle and it can be hard and that's okay. Yeah.
So the state tells you what the category is. Did the state tell you how to measure it, or did we choose how to measure it?
We chose. So there is a committee that meets. So we have a parent rep from each building. We have student rep. We have 2 teachers, 1 elementary, 1 secondary, and then we have 2 principals, 1 elementary, 1 secondary, myself, that we sit and then we write the goals each year. So the full report has like all the data that we looked at to then determine the goal. Yeah, so.
Thank you, Sarah. So
Yes.
So we need a motion in a second to accept the EACR report unless there's additional questions. Okay, we'll take a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Again, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you, Sarah. All right, so we have some changes to our school year calendars, and Mr. Dietz is going to give us a few quick details on that. I assume.
Yes, I'd love to.
Okay.
Last year in the session, the biennium, there was legislation that came out that gave districts the authority to go ahead at the board level to make calendar changes for just 2 years. The 26, 27, 27, 28 at the beginning of the year for Labor Day. Because Labor Day is going to be later those 2 years. They allow districts to go ahead and move it back to September 1st or after, and trial this for 2 years to see how it's gonna go. So with the 2 years that are in front of you tonight, 26, 27 would start 4 days earlier than normal, because again, Labor Day is later on. So it jumped up that September 1st date. And if you're 4 days earlier in the calendar, we're done 4 days earlier at the tail end. And then the next year calendar, 27, 28, start 3 days early and done 3 days earlier in the calendar year. Typically, what we did in the past, we've done this with our SUPS council group, we've written this information to them, vet it through them. That's all of our district leadership for all the unions and bargaining groups in our district. We talked to our athletic director about this, students, just to get feedback overall. And universally, it came back with, it makes sense, especially for our students, like especially our athletes and people that are in clubs and activities. They're already back earlier on before the school year starts anyway, so it made a lot of sense to look at that piece overall. So we wanted to go ahead and bring that to you to have you approve that so we can get it posted for parents that are already planning a year or two ahead for their vacations and breaks for their kids, so that we have that going on. Once the 27, 28 year is done, the legislation actually sunsets at that point. I don't know if they're going to continue that. We'll find out afterwards from the Senate and the House and the state level, but we'll see what happens. The other part of this too, I want to let you know is that we took the opportunity to go ahead and also adjust high school quarter schedules to try to balance out the days per quarter. So we did come up with a proposal, we did put it in there, and we're going to trial that for the next 2 years. One thing that I want to make you aware that we will be monitoring is that one big shift that happened is that we are going to go from having Monday professional development days in the calendar to Friday professional development days in the calendar. We did vet that through the professional development committee, talked about it as a group as well. And the only thing I talked about is that it'll be important for us to monitor attendance for those PD days. We want to take the data we've had in the past from Mondays and assess Fridays. We'll look at that year to year and see if it has an impact, because we don't want to lose that element when we have such good PD across our district for people to miss that piece as well. So we'll look at that every year and come back and report on that piece too.
Brian, is this where we're moving graduation to the weekend too?
Yes.
This would be the start of it.
Correct, yeah, because we did the same this year for consistency.
Yeah.
Yep, next year we'll move it. Yeah.
So FYI, you guys.
Oh,
Because it didn't, and the reason for that was what happened to us last year, and then we looked at it, and that was really the weekend no one was gonna be gone. No one was playing anything, no one was, so it's always like that weekend before that week that everybody's like in limbo anyway.
it's a state tournament time.
State tournament time and section time, nothing happens on that. So we wouldn't miss any kids at that point.
Any other questions about the calendar changes? If not, we need a motion and a second to accept these revised calendars for the 26, 27, 27, 28 school years.
I so move.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Again, same sign. The motion passes. All right, we're moving on to roof bids. And it looks like Robin, we have some updates for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, we have a letter here from Troy Thompson recommending what we have. We had 6 bidders that came in last Wednesday. We had the 3 separate projects, one for the high school, one for the middle school, and one for primary school. We also had a combo bid. We only had one company that actually did the combo bid. And you can see that BL Dawson Roofing got the high school and the middle school bid. We did have a conversation with them to make sure that they could actually do that, because that's 2 big projects as well. And they did, they said they have 3 crews to be able to get that done. So really, I don't know if I should say it out loud, but they're hoping they can get it done before school started. It's all gonna depend on weather, obviously. And then the primary school is McPhillips Brothers Roofing. Everybody's been vetted. It came in at, the whole project is $4,506,184. Of course, I took like a 5% contingency, expecting we're gonna have a little bit of that. We're at 4.7 million, so we're still under that 4.8 to $5 million that we put out to budget. So feeling pretty good about at least where the budget came in. We just need you, the board, to approve that, and then we can go forward with that. And I'll start working on the financing part of it too, and I'll keep you up on that. I'm meeting with Ellers tomorrow to start that process as well.
Very good. Any questions about the roof bids? If not, we'll need a motion and a second to accept the bids as presented.
Okay, I also move the bids.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. The roof bids are accepted. Thanks, Robin.
Welcome.
We have a dental insurance rate update from Corey Becker.
We haven't brought this to you guys in the past because we haven't changed our rates, but over the last, well, since I've been here, there's been a request to increase our yearly maximum that is paid by the insurance companies. So this year we went out to Delta Dental and just asked them to use a $2,000 quote and a $1,500 quote because our current maximum is $1,000. Because the rates did change, we do just bring them to the board to let you guys know what the difference is. And so we did have to go with the $1,500 maximum because the rates, the $2,000 maximum are much higher than we expected them to be. And so through this, we had mentioned some stuff at the insurance committee, but it took us a bit of time to get the quotes in from Delta Dental. We actually, Jen and Jeff, I think, got them like 3 days before we had to put them on our open enrollment packet. So, so they've seen these. I sent it to them to let them know we were doing what the rates were, but I just bring it to the board so that way you guys are aware and then we accept the rates.
Any questions about the dental rates? If not, we need a motion and a second to accept the new dental insurance rates.
I'll make a motion to accept the new dental rates. Whether we like it or not, these are the rates.
We need a second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor of the new dental rates, say aye.
Aye.
Again, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Corey. All right, is there anything further that needs to come before the board?
I don't know where this fit, and I don't know who all knows it, but Jody about 20 hours ago found out that she was Regional 7 AAAD of the year. Now she's gonna take another step and possibly go to the state level.
Oh.
So just wanted to say that, 'cause she just found that out.
Oh, that's exciting. Congratulations to Jody. All right, then we'll need a motion and a second to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Again, same sign. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Like, what is going on? It's like,